The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, is another episode of the Modern Jeeper Show with me, Matson from MetalCloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne. If you could understand that sentence, I was talking way too fast. That's okay.
He's a little high right now.
Oh, we've got you guys.
Hey, Corey, how are you, buddy?
You guys that are listening, it's okay. You're not on fast forward. It just may sound like you are.
Yeah, it just may sound like I am. That's craziness.
Yeah.
I kind of blurred my words there. By the way, Rockstar G Girl Jessy, how are you?
I'm good. It's a little chilly here. Boo.
I was given a tour to the Rubicon Trail Foundation. They actually used our boardroom on Saturday for a summit, right? So they can come and use it. So 13 of them came and used the boardroom from a summit. And I came by around lunchtime for them and gave them a tour of the facility. And as I'm going through talking about stuff, a comment was made like, I think there was 2 commas in that last sentence he had.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is definitely that you've got some sinus stuff going on. Jesse's got some sinus stuff going on. It's, again, I feel weird because we talk about weather so often, but we're in that kind of a year, it seems, this year. So we're not at home. We should be at home, but we kind of last week we're looking at our weather patterns and our forecasts, and we have Death Valley coming up, and it was kind of like, hey, you've got like this window of about 12 hours. And it's funny. So we got to Mesquite, and that was kind of my goal last night. And we can stay in Mesquite pretty inexpensively. But the weather is literally right behind us. And I just got a weather alert from the house. We're at like a code red weather warning for the next 3 days. Yep. And it's not warm here. I think Vegas, like the high today in Vegas is 58 degrees or something.
And all the mountains are covered in snow.
So much snow.
Snowing up on the mountains again.
Well, it's out here. I mean, it's been raining constantly. It's snowing up in the mountains. So there's another layer of snow going, which is awesome, right? One of our guys he lives, an hour plus away from here, lives up in Grass Valley, and he couldn't even come in today because it was pretty much snowed in, and they just hadn't gotten around to be able to clear the highway. And so he's set to go, wants to come on in, can't do it. Plus he's out of power right now. So he's running off of his generator. It's just,
it's crazy. Jesse's mom in Oklahoma, they had a tornado go through and they have no power. So they're on generator power in Oklahoma.
Yeah, she's fine today, but she's out helping Red Cross because Shawnee got hit pretty good last night or the night before. So. A lot of people.
It is.
I checked on all my Oklahoma people. They're all good, but cleaning up now.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The weather just keeps coming. And our house in Lincoln City, I think I mentioned it last week, but our house in Lincoln City had 6 inches of snow on our beach house, like next to Portland. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but Google Portland in the snow, and it was like their highway was shut down just from snow dumped on the area.
Well, that's how we saw some LA pictures where there was a bunch of snow in LA and people were freaking out. And
that's cocaine. It was a truck that overturned, and it became
cocaine bear.
But you're right. I mean, it actually snowed the other day. I came home and the boys were like, it was snowing in the backyard. I'm going, yeah, right. Then I heard it from 2 or 3 people, like Fair Oaks area got some snow. And I mean, it's cold enough. It's freaking cold in the morning.
And it's just so. I mean, this is our typical winter, right? This is what the winters we used to have, and we all need the moisture, especially Colorado, all these western states. Of course, people in the east are like, no more, make it stop. But they're also used to kind of a little bit of a different weather pattern, I think. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about right before we started this podcast, Matson was going to do he needed some emergency, and he opened the packet and just dumped it in his mouth and then chased it with some water. And I'm still, my jaw still kind of got that hole.
Well, the funny thing is I actually opened 2 packets. So I already did 1. So now for the audience, you can see this is how we did it on the Pacific Crest Trail when you had to do it on the trail, because you didn't want to sit there mixing it on the trail. You just, as you're walking along, you go, okay, it's about time for that. I need that little boost of energy because I'm about to go up this zigzag. I'm about to go up I'm just going to go do it.
So I don't know if you've ever seen
and
the
that's
show.
It.
If you've ever seen the show Ridiculousness.
Of course, now I did it a little bit wrong.
Rob Dyrdek does this. It's about video clips gone wrong, things like that, and usually stuff I can watch anything online, and that never bothers me. As like gag reflexes and things like that, and
it was bad.
The other day there was one where this guy had a water, it was a bong, there's smoking pot through this bong or whatever, and he drank the bong water.
A bong? I don't know what those things are.
Yeah, I don't know, this big glass vase thing, right?
He had a gong? You said he had a gong?
He had a gong.
Yeah.
And right. He drank it, and it was the best thing I could do to not throw up.
He had to walk out. Yeah. It was pretty bad. It was gross.
Wow. That's kind of crazy.
now Matson wrecked himself.
Here I went and did that, and for some reason, for the first time ever, I've got I feel like I've got a piece sitting right there. That simply won't go. This is great.
Nope.
Well, this is my new voice for the rest of the show, guys and gals. I'm going to be talking like Wolfman Jack.
What are we going to do with you?
There we go.
That better?
Yeah, I feel better.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Got it.
Cool.
Yay.
Anyway.
Well, there is an outtake for you.
Yeah.
Mr. Editor, yes, you may keep all that in. But you might want to add some other sound effects or things like that too.
Your head exploding.
Your head explodes. Just.
It did, literally.
I want to touch base on a couple of things that we had Shannon Welch on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about Blue Ribbon Coalition and some of the land use stuff that's coming about. And we were talking a little bit about this plan that the BLM and California State Parks is involved with, and it's south of Vegas. It's kind of just close to here, in Red Rock Canyon State Park. And there's a trail down there called Nightmare Gulch. I did some digging, and I don't think that's it may have been a trail that I was on years ago. I don't know that I remember the trail. I know it was inside the Red Rock State Park, and we took a group of Jeeps there, and we ended up coming out the other side. Again, I don't know that was this Nightmare Gulch, but near as I can tell, so there's this new travel management plan, this Nightmare Gulch used to be a horse road, what am I trying to say? A wagon road, basically, through this area. But that road has been closed to motorized access for like 6 to 7 years, near as I can tell. So it's already been closed. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because my fear is that this is how things go, and this is how we all react, right? It's been closed for a number of years to motorized access, and now there's a plan going to be put into place, and everybody's talking about it. And now we're worried about it, that they're going to restrict our access formally. So it's kind of interesting to me that we haven't spoken up for the last 7-ish years about why this road has been closed to us. But now that there's going to be some kind of written documentation, now we're all upset and we're up in arms going, hey, we have to think about this. And I get it. Like, nobody does anything until it actually affects them. And until it's brought to their attention. I didn't know about this trail being closed. Like I said, it was something that I did, I think, years and years ago. And I don't know, it was pretty cool. It's a really neat area. Like, there's some really cool stuff. And that's why this travel management plan is being put into place or being talked about, is because they're trying to protect a lot of the resources. One of the sites.
If we didn't need it for the last 6-7 years, we don't need it for the next 10 or 20, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's kind of a weird thing. Like if nobody missed it,
right,
then I would take advantage of it and be like, well, just nobody missed it. We closed it for a couple of years and nobody was complaining. So let's just keep it closed for a few more years and a few more years and a few more years.
Yeah, it was really weird. This one of the websites I visited was basically a hiker website. And it talked about, hey, if you guys are out there looking for Jeeps to come through here and tear this place up, and just for the sake of tearing stuff up, this isn't the website for you. You need to go somewhere else. But it kind of was like the hikers were very, very anti-motorized use. And I don't know. I read through, this plan that's being put up, and I'll share a link with you, Matson, and you can throw it in the notes. It's an extensive, I think there's 5 sections to this plan. The second section is 80 pages.
Wow.
So I went through it very fast. The 4th section is where they start to talk about what they're actually going to do. But again, this is all protected. There's a lot of wildlife areas around. There's conservation areas in place in this state park. It's a lot of hiking trails. And I don't know how I feel about it. Like now I'm kind of on that same line. I'm a motorized access enthusiast, so I don't want them to put it in writing that it's closed, but it has been closed already. So
informally,
it's just, it becomes like anything, out of sight, out of his mind. We don't see it. We don't happen. By the way, have you ever seen what a good pair of hiking boots can do to the trail? I mean, there's
you can tear some stuff up.
You can tear stuff up. Okay. Hikers like, oh yeah, no problem. But you hike, you get a lot of people hiking through an area. You can tear stuff up. I'm sorry, guys. But it's tough, because if you have an area like that that's been closed, you've got to speak out about it. So we have a lot of issues happening right now in the Rubicon area, the Rubicon Trail Foundation, Rubicon Trail, all this stuff. I'm actually emceeing their Black Tie and Boots dinner on the March 11th. So MetalCloak got a table there and stuff. No, you're not allowed to cough, Corey. I'm allowed to cough. But I'm emceeing the dinner. Good group of people, and they were, like I said, they were here over the weekend at MetalCloak World Headquarters using our conference room. And but there's some challenges happening, because, like, for instance, the Rubicon Trail was closed back in December. And unfortunately, it was an illegal closure. They didn't have the right to close. It was simply decided by one person that they were going to close the trail. Why? Because of snow or whatever else. I'm sure there was justifications for it, but it turned out it was an illegal closure. Then the county board of supervisors went back, and as I understand it, retroactively made it legal, right? So that it would be not a big deal. But what's a trail like that, an area like that, everybody has constant attention on. Not a thing happens with that trail without people immediately reacting to it. Because the loss of that trail would be a huge impact to a lot of people, right? So there's lots and lots of people involved with it. Lots and lots of people. MetalCloak is the title sponsor for Cantina for the Con, which is a fundraising event for the trail. We do a lot of stuff to support the trail. But it's the example of a trail like that gets closed. Nobody's going to sit back and go, well, okay, let's just see what happens, right? So if you don't want to lose a trail, the moment that the trail gets closed, you need to speak up about it. Otherwise, 7 years goes by and it's like, okay, well, guess what? You can't go back and convince people that, we can't have it officially closed now.
Right.
Well, yeah.
No, that's a very good point. And we don't, I guess, it's hard for me to think about. I mean, we're only a couple people here. There's only 3 of us on this podcast. So how can we keep a mindset about every trail that's going on out there? And these are areas, while Rubicon at least is in your backyard, and it's very close to you guys to keep informed of what's going on. So, a place like, and I reached out to our friend Jonathan at American Off-Road. He hasn't got back to me yet. I just sent him a quick message and said, hey, tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are on Nightmare Gulch. And again, I don't even know if it's an area that the local Jeep clubs if they care about. I just don't know.
I just want to know why it got its name, Nightmare Gulch.
Right. You should not give it a name like Nightmare Gulch to a bunch of off-roaders.
Yeah.
Right. It is very attractive.
Like Marshmallow Trail or something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's a good point. If you don't want Jeepers to go out there, give your names like, Unicorn Hill and
Yeah.
and Rainbow Ridge. I mean, that's better.
Yeah.
Not Widowmaker, Nightmare Gulch. You know, that just tracks people. Like, you know,
Yep. Now I want to
Death on
go
a Stick.
because
I mean,
yes.
we're into that. I mean, we're the type of guys that will go buy the can of Death Row water and pay $3 for it just because it says death on it.
That's right. Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's I
want to go wheel Rainbow Ridge.
We just made a trip. We had to go to Walmart real quick for some supplies, and they had 12 packs of Liquid Death.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that wasn't Walmart for a while, like you couldn't, way back when you couldn't get certain things, but I can buy Liquid Death now.
You buy Liquid Death.
Yes.
It's insane. And it's just I mean, can you imagine some kids going, look what I got, man. I got Liquid Death. Look at that. Dude, it's water. Yeah.
Well, and they put it near the aisle where all the liquor is. All the beer and stuff.
It's on an end cap where all the wine is. And I'm like,
yeah, because it's a special mixer. It's quality tap water that works as a special mixer.
It's
so you
really
can have
weird drinking water out of the can. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. It's just insane.
It's quality tap water.
Wrong.
It's quality tap water. It's properly filtered with the what was it? The artesian. Remember the whole thing with the
Avion.
Avion, yeah.
Avion
artesian. Well, I thought didn't Coors have something like they were using the artesian waters of Coors, right? It's like
natural artisan water. It says it right on the bottom.
Oh yes, because it came all the way from Fiji.
Yes,
totally
did.
Yeah,
Avion was just naive backwards.
Yeah.
That's why they did
and
it.
Straight up, like it's.
That's awesome.
Naive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I always thought it was funny because if you go around town, you don't really. Most places have local ice maker companies, right? That nobody ever nationalized. Like, why didn't Coca-Cola take Aquafina and say, we're going to make Aquafina brand ice and sell ice across the country as Aquafina, because people would pay for that, right? They'd pay for a premium, right? Not just ice. Yeah, I have blue ice.
So I think in one of our early podcasts, I talked a little bit about there was actually a water company in Uray. They were based in Uray. They had an office over in Telluride, but it was called Biota, BIOTA, and it stood for Blame It on the Altitude. And it was really kind of a neat idea. They were using water actually up in Uray to bottle their product, and their bottles were cornstarch. So they would actually biodegradable bottled water. Okay, sounds great. But
how long did that last?
I don't really know, and I don't see any of them around anymore. So I'm guessing not very long.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not the type of water. This is not your emergency water you put in your prepper shelf.
No.
For,
how come everything in my bag's
wet?
How come everything in my bag's wet at the bottom? Right. But actually, it turned out that they actually didn't have a lot of the water rights that they needed to be capturing that water, and so they went away.
Well, Crystal Geyser, which actually is bottled near sources, right? Crystal Geyser is a water that is taken from springs. Yeah. And there was a big controversy a decade or so ago because they wanted some spring rights up off of 50, I think it was. Maybe it was 80, 50, one of those two. And they got the rights, but they were just, literally it is. Crystal Geyser is water they find springs all over, and that's where they capture and they bottle the water from. And yet Crystal Geyser is one of the cheapest. I love going when I'm in Lincoln City, you buy the big one that's like a gallon or 2 gallons, whatever, the big square one, right? You have a few of those. And it's so cheap, but they're still a profitable company. Why? Because they're bringing water.
They're right there.
Yeah, they're not really filtering it. They just throw it in there.
She's bougie water. She likes Fiji.
I don't like the geyser water. It tastes weird to me.
You got the bougie water. You like the when you go to the restaurant, they give you the nice big glass bottle of water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where was I just the other night? It was actually where they came out and they brought a glass bottle, and that's actually how you poured your water to your table. It was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I always wondered then. So do they use that same water then to make your ice?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what's funny in our own household. Like I don't Now, Fair Oaks water is actually good water. Orange Vale, the area, they do not add fluoride to the water. They don't add fluoride. So, and Fair Oaks uses Orange Vale water. So we're fine drinking tap water. I mean, it's fine. It's just tap water. We used to get the big bottles all the time and have that, and we just stopped doing it. So we use the tap water. Now, my refrigerator makes ice, right? So it didn't make sense anyway to have like all this specialized, and then you're putting it over ice.
Over regular tap water. Yeah.
Regular tap water that's in a filter, but what does that do?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny. I was thinking about our show the other day. I was actually running an ad. I'm running an ad to promote our show, right, to more people. And in doing that, I was talking about like, Jeeps, Jeeping and Jeepers. And I think in the ad, I say, well, who am I kidding? This is just a general BS session about anything you want to talk about. Because I don't think we've really talked about Jeeps much in this first 20 minutes of the show so far.
No. I've got a list though. I'm on my,
okay, good.
I'm going to stay on my, not so much. Focus. I feel like I'm on a track here of, with the trail thing, calling out like, hey guys, if you want to make a difference, you have to do it right away.
Right.
I was looking, and I keep getting emails regarding this 20th anniversary Rubicon that Jeep released.
Right.
And
right.
I think it's kind of interesting because I've had a couple of different conversations with folks who completely like have not paid a whole lot of attention to actually what Jeep is marketing as the 20th anniversary, because a number of people have just been like, yeah, it's 115 grand, and no, it's not. So
that's the AEV version,
right? That's a total different upsale level 2 AEV build that is completely different than the 20th. I mean, it's just a different Jeep, and people have. I guess Jeep did such a good job marketing this AEV brand, which is kind of interesting to me.
It's funny because it is on their homepage of their website, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's something that you can order with this AEV, and then it's $115,000. By the way, that package is $21,000, and what you get, well, I'd list it for you here, but it's a pretty short list actually. But really, what it is you're getting 37-inch tall tires.
But you get the AEV badging everywhere, right? So that makes you cooler,
right? And I'm just kind of blown away that we're only going to make 150 of these and they're already sold out. Because
AEV has one hell of a business plan. In fact, we should try to get. Well, I'm going to see if we can do it. Let's try to get Dave on from AEV on the show.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him, see if we can, because I met him years ago, back when they were just. There was a point in time, you may remember, they were doing the J8s.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were importing the J8s. You could buy the J8s from them, and then they would tell you where to buy the engine because they weren't allowed to sell J8s with engines. They were only allowed to sell J8s without engines, and so they acquired the J8s. They were importing them or whatever. They would assemble them. You can come buy them, but you'd go get it. You have to get an engine from someplace else and have it installed. And I met him back then when he was promoting that. That was before they started doing all the crazy stuff they're doing now with these full custom Jeep, specific builds.
Right. Well, I think it's so real quick, I do have that list pulled up. For 21 grand, you get 37s. You get a Warn Evo 10S winch. You get an AEV's 2.5-inch lift. You get their bumpers, their tire carrier,
wheels.
You get their wheels,
skid plates.
Oh, and by the way, that 20th anniversary does come with the compressor. In the tailgate. Yeah, that's the huge selling point for Jeep. Apparently is.
So what does a basic 20th anniversary come with? You just go buy a 20th anniversary Rubicon. What does it come with? So does it get special badging in the seats or something?
You get let's see here. It's basically and I apologize. I was going to put a lot of this stuff up on ModernJeeper.com, but it kind of I don't know. Everybody was talking about it, and then when I see that, I go to the other side and wait. So you basically it's the 20th anniversary has the Extreme Recon package. So you get 35-inch tires, and you get the pump lift, isn't it? you get a 3/4 of an inch lift. I think it said somewhere in here. And you get
3/4 of an inch more over than the 1 inch.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Kind of confusing.
We get kind of like some people actually there's a thread on GL Regular Forum, MetalCloak versus Terraflex, right? And Terraflex was in the forums. I don't tend to get into the forums like in those threads. Like I will message people directly who have posted threads or had questions in the thread, and rather than just go and participate. And this one I probably should, because Terraflex is in there answering some questions, and good for them. They're providing some tech and some help and support, and that's awesome. But in there, they were talking about that, like the different lift size. Well, Terraflex apparently is true lift height from a sport model up. MetalCloak is a +1 lift height, because we did all of our designs off of Rubicons. So
gotcha.
Which is kind of a weird thing. It's like, well, it's still a 3.5 inch lift. It's just a 3.5 inch lift based on removing the 1 inch lift that you have from your Rubicon and adding a 3.5 inch lift in. Right. It's not 3.5 more inches than your current 1 inch lift. It's a 3.5 inch lift based on, So it's just kind of a funny little distinction.
So I found the 20th anniversary. You get the new 7-slot grill that I haven't seen anybody really cares for. You get the beadlock. Those are the beadlock capable wheels from Jeep. You get an 83-piece toolkit, a triple hoop grill guard, steel bumpers, and a 1/2 inch suspension lift, which I'm guessing is a 1/2 inch over the Rubicon 1 inch.
They should.
And then of course you get decals and the compressor.
They should have done a 20 slot grill.
20 slot,
Yeah, a 20 slot. No, you don't think that would be good?
Make it
chrome.
2 rows of 10.
2 rows of 10. They could have gone and made the slots horizontal.
Oh yeah, horizontal. Yes. Yeah. Isn't that one of the variations that that Indian company tried?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Oh man. So you get all these things for this 20th anniversary for this extra price, but you have a cool 20th anniversary badge. Now I will say that it was a gentleman was just in here earlier, and he was thinking, older guy, he just wants to overland a little bit. He's going to go over to Cloakworks and have his rig built, and he was looking at what should I buy, what Rubicon edition should I get, and I said, well, you might as well get the 20th anniversary, because you might as well get it, because it's going to be special, right? You'll always have it, right? It'll probably have some more value than a normal Rubicon. So just go for it. Got the money, might as well.
Yeah, when money is an object. I mean, so 90,000 is the 20th anniversary model as it rolls off, and then
90,000 is the base price anyway.
Yeah.
And it is only a 392 and 4xe, right? They have 392 and 4xe. So it's only those two. It's not a standard 3. Okay.
Not that Jeep has said yet, but they're basing a lot of this. And of course, then it's kind of funny too when you start talking about the 4xe, then options change, because of course the heights wise, there's a lot of variations between the 392 and the 4xe. So I think the 4xe, it wasn't at 90. It was much less than the 392. I think it was at 67 or something like that MSRP. So,
wow.
Yeah. And we're seeing a few more 4xEs running around. I think they're just more popular when they're in populated areas. We still don't see any out on the trail. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
Well, yeah, it is kind of interesting. We have ours, but we've pretty much done our RD on it. We're already thinking about time to sell it.
Yep.
Time to sell it, maybe trade it in, get another JL, get something else, because we just wanted it for the R&D. We don't really need it. We're not planning on keeping it. We're not planning on wheeling it. So it's a novelty item. And unfortunately, because of the way the battery technology is, it's like we talked about before, and we've had that many conversations on here. Yeah, it's going to change. And the value of a 4xe compared to, say, the value of a 392, one's going to go down, one's going to go up.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. We were talking a little bit about gas prices on our way down here, and It is funny too how we get used to their prices being just higher, and then they come down a little bit, and we feel a lot better, and then we're just okay with it because they did come down some. So then we're kind of happier, right? But they're still way overinflated. Like it's still, but it's a mental thing. I tell you, marketing wise, man, our society, we do a really good job.
Well, hey, we are. Listen, I spent years, and I'll have to admit this to the group. I spent years doing social marketing, and social marketing is using modern marketing techniques to make social change, right? And I had a conference, had a contract with the state of California to do their annual social marketing conference. It was primarily focused on health, nutrition, but this was the thing: how to use marketing techniques that come straight out of Manhattan, straight out of New York, straight out of the advertising agencies to get people to change their habits. And so they've gotten so good at that's we see it around us all the time, but we don't even realize it. That the government agencies and government groups are using marketing to make sure that we follow protocols so they like that meets their needs, meets their demands, meets their agendas, whatever. And so look at COVID lockdowns, right? There was pure modern marketing techniques used to sell the idea of flatten the curve, right? Then to sell the idea that we had to keep going. And then
subliminal messages.
Right. Everywhere. And we come back to it, and you all of a sudden at the other end, we're on the other side of it. But are we really where we started? No.
Right.
No, we don't have all the freedoms we had when we started, right? No. And we're all a little bit cautious. I was commenting earlier as we're sitting here coughing and sneezing and all that kind of stuff, thinking at least we're in a point where I can sneeze and it's not immediately like, oh, people don't. I better. What am I doing in the office? I need to get out of here. I'm sorry, guys. Stay 10 feet away from me. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different day. It is definitely a different day. We still have signs around this place here in Mesquite, Nevada that have, social distancing is still in effect. And, again, it's still taking a hit. It's still taking a toll. People are it caused so much fear. And I mean,
they said international tourism on the news today for Las Vegas was up 151% for international coming through their airport to be here. It's crazy.
Over what? Over last year?
Over last year.
150%. I mean, that's huge. They were saying that air travel is, it's way up, which was good because, end of last year was kind of, and now it's picking back up again. But I still think it takes people are like, well, we're just going to drive now. That's just the way it is.
Right. Well, yeah, I was saying, it's like the whole van life. I was talking about before we started the show, I've been looking more and more into the van life world, right? How many people are out there doing that? Just taking and building a van. Wow. There was a family of like, was it 5 or 6, 4 kids, 2 adults, right? In a van. In a Sprinter van, and how they've set up and I was kind of looking how they're doing that because I have the 3 kids, and how would we do this and how would we set these things up so that everybody can live comfortably. And it's not so much that we want to travel like they are. We're not going to live that life. But if I want to go a little someplace where I can throw out a tent and the kids can camp and Louisa has a comfortable place to sleep, and we can do that sort of thing instead of the big RV. But it is amazing how many channels are created, how many people are doing that, how many people are building these, and the freaking prices, dude.
Oh, buddy.
I'm looking at a platform just for a bed, uses a couple of rails on both sides. Mm-hmm. It is cut metal and it's brake pressed. We do that in our sleep here every day.
Right.
It was 3 panels. Maybe it's the width of a bed, right? So it's not that much steel at current steel prices, and maybe it was aluminum, so it's a little bit more. But they were charging $2,500 for this.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't use more than one of our skid plate systems, but it's not even the same gauge material. It's like, how the hell are they charging $2,500 for that? It was crazy.
Well, so the guy that I actually bought my LJ from, I helped him buy it, and then Simon didn't want it anymore, didn't need it, so I ended up buying it from him. But he bought it was like a ProMaster or one of the maybe a Ford van or something.
Right. ProMasters, yeah, that's.
Yeah, and it was gutted. He didn't want any windows in it. He didn't want anything inside it. And he bought it right. He bought it brand new. But then he did all of the interior work. He's good with wood, and he's kind of an engineering mindset. He created his whole interior camper, and it looks amazing, just like one of these guys with the van life vans the Sprinter vans that you buy for $180,000.
Right.
He did that himself, and he probably doesn't have 60 in the thing, and it's amazing. But again, now we're all in that mindset. Well, I can just go buy one. It's funny. Some people want to create what they need. Some people, it's a lot like building a Jeep, right? I mean, you can create some things, but it's modularity, it's flexibility, it's buying things it's kind of like where we've gone with ARS, with the rack systems. People they want the basics so that then they can make it the way that they need or what their vision is. And look at all the variety that we see now. You bring up a good point. One of the things in that report I was reading about from California State Parks and the BLM and the Forest Service, those reports, I always thought this is going to be really basic because they're just going to tell us we're taking your roads. No, it talks about historical travel and the cars that used to go up in there. And they also talk about what is the intended use as we go forward. And we have to be creative enough when we make these rules that we're addressing things that may come. So it was cool. There was like a picture of like an old Model A or a Model T or something up on this road. And they had this little kind of, tent thing set up next to this car. And it was like from the 30s or something.
Wow,
it was
cool.
Crazy.
So does that mean like for instance, if we get to the point where we're driving around in a hovercraft, the hovercraft could go through because they're not actually touching the ground?
Right. If we don't touch the dirt.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Yes, but it can't just displace the dirt. It can't be big, powerful fans.
Right. Yeah.
It has to be anti-gravity system.
Maybe you had to wet it down first or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like it. Wouldn't that be cool? Like a car. They should put that on Ultra 4 cars. It sprays the ground before they even drive over it.
Swiffer.
It's spraying the ground.
It does. The Swiffer.
Ultra 4 cars always keep there's no dust ever because they're spraying the ground as they go.
But we're consuming water, so there's that problem.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry about that, because here in California, all of a sudden we have all these regulations that we have to put all of our food waste into our into our compost piles, right? And by the way, make sure you clean out your tin cans and stuff you're putting into recycling. Okay, so I'm supposed to take water and waste water that is very valuable to clean out a tin can so I can put it into the recycling. Okay, no problem. I'll do it. So I'm going to clean everything. I'm going to wash everything, make sure it's clean for you so you can have it in the recycling.
You know where they're failing on this issue is that
everywhere.
Yes, but I'm a regular person, okay? I'm coming to California, and you have those trash cans in the fast food places now that I've noticed. They have compost and this and this. How do you know what's a regular person? I don't know. Y'all do things different in California.
Oh yeah, well, I just had that In-N-Out. In-N-Out had the 3 trash cans, right? So now, what do you used to do? You used to take your plate, you would take your platter, and you go dump it, right? All of a sudden, I'm standing there. I've got a very dirty platter. I just had 2 kids and myself eating stuff. There's food. Oh, so okay. So I know where the compost is. So I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to dump it over there. Okay. Now I have paper and plastic, so that's recycled. But oh wait, the plastic doesn't actually go into the recycling. The plastic goes into the what? Huh? Yeah, I know your point. Yeah. And it's like, so what I do? You.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, I don't.
Editor, bleep that out. It's like I just dumped it in, right?
Yeah.
But that's the same thing. Like, even in my house, because I have a big problem with taking my food waste and separating it out and putting it into my grass clipping. I just have a problem with that because, sure, there's ants and stuff and things, but what am I supposed to do? Just dump it in there? Well, no, you're supposed to use compostable bags. That's great. Does anybody buy those for me? Because, I have plenty of bags because I get bags all the time when I'm going to the grocery store. All the reusable bags that I pay 10 cents for that I don't reuse, I just use them as trash bags. Yes.
We do that in Colorado now, so it's
yeah.
fine.
So it's like, and I'm like, that's fine, but now I'm supposed to buy compostable bags so that my food waste can go into there, so it
That
can
are
go
3
into the
times more
compost.
expensive.
Right.
And I started putting out my green waste bin, just even though there's nothing in it, because now they're having they're doing like they're going people
Inspections.
around doing inspections.
Oh
Spot
my
inspection
gosh.
to identify homes that aren't using the green waste bin every single day. Like,
So
So you're supposed to put your green waste bin out there for all the animals to come munch on it?
yeah. Well, the only animals we have around there are, well, Jack, Josh.
Right. I tell you, everybody from California needs to go to Nevada because we still get paper or plastic bags here.
Wow.
They're free.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go away, though.
I
have a feeling.
How weird is it to go to your own grocery store and you can't get you got to bring your reusables, and then you're traveling and then they're going to give you a big wad of plastic bags.
Right. Well, it was the first time Oregon changed their law because they actually had a law passed and they are now charging for bags. But when we first started going to Oregon, Lincoln City, and it was, in California, be like, they just shove the bags. I mean, they want to reduce the number of bags. So you end up having 3 bags with all these groceries. And I go to Lincoln, Oregon, and they're just like 2 items in one bag, 3 items in another.
Yeah.
Right.
You had 20 bags and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. They're free here. All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, versus I'm now walking in, I'm Hulk He-Man carrying my 2 bags of like 20 pounds each of food.
So apparently it's just a problem in some areas.
It's let's talk about straws. It's only a problem in the Bay Area for straws to be plastic. I mean, because anywhere else they're just, how many times have you gotten we actually have metal straws at home that somebody sent us where you can travel. It's in a little travel pack. You could open it up and make your little straws and put your straws together, and you could have your metal straw when you go to McDonald's. I'm sorry. I will know for a fact that Coca-Cola at McDonald's tastes better when it comes to a plastic straw. Sorry.
Yep. Totally.
Well, those paper straws are absolutely ridiculous because that's like half your drink later, and you're like, "What is going on?"
But you're old enough to have used paper straws when you were a kid. You and I both did. We all used paper straws, and but yeah, it didn't have the durability, right?
I mean,
of course,
what happened in the days?
Paper back then was lead based, so
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I remember the days where we actually got. I don't know what to call them now, but 7-Eleven, when you got a slushie or a Slurpee and ices, they were a straw and they had a little spoon on the end.
Yes, they still have those.
Do they? Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, they still.
I thought I had to get a spork or something. Now.
Yeah, they have the little spoon on them, big straws, right? Now go to some place that serves like the bobo tea. You ever done that? Like the big bobo tea, and they have the giant straw that sucks in the little balls.
Yeah, you have to suck the tapioca in, so they're like that big around.
Yeah, they're big, the big balls.
I use them on cake.
You suck balls.
You just stick them in there and they're good.
I don't want to suck balls.
You don't want to suck balls? Yeah.
They're nasty.
Reminds me of an episode of Mike Rowe in Dirty Jobs when he had to bite off the testicles of a little lamb.
Yeah.
Oh God. No.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to be able to tag Mike Rowe in this episode. That's all.
Oh, gotcha. So after Death Valley, and we have Tierra del Sol coming up this weekend.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
We're going to be there. MetalCloak will be there. In fact, my truck will be there. I will not be there, but my truck will be there. We'll be there with the CTI trailer. We'll be out there. We have 3 guys heading out. So Will, Danny, and Mike will all be out there.
Cool.
And doing a bunch of stuff. So he come by, say hi. So it's TDS. Still a big weekend. I mean, it's gonna be interesting because I don't even know. I haven't even checked what the weather's gonna be like. But
I don't know. It's not gonna be good.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. And unfortunately, if it's raining, we don't CTI, right? Especially on that trailer. That trailer's bigger. And so
is more sketch.
Yeah. Stay tuned, our listeners, for Jesse and I have some plans for a little CTI. Maybe some fun videos coming up here before we get to Easter Jeep Safari. Talking a little bit about that and I can't believe that it's March tomorrow. By the time this goes live, we're in March. So now here we are, the 3rd month of the year. You guys, if you have a project coming up and you are needing to get your Jeep done, you better get on the list, either your shop, you better be calling MetalCloak, you better be getting your parts ordered, because Easter Jeep Safari and the season is coming faster than you know.
Your failure to plan does not make an emergency for us.
That's right.
Actually, it does.
That's right.
We love you. Okay, we're looking at the weather right now. Thursday, sunny, 70 degrees. Friday, sunny, 68 degrees. Saturday, a little cloudy, 70 degrees. Sunday, a little cloudy, 72 degrees. So it's gonna be a perfect perfect weather at the Salton Sea. Now, knowing those areas, that could be like the Salton Sea, like the one little circle area, and then like across the street at Truckhaven, it'll be a different weather, but you never know.
Yep.
But right now, it looks like it's gonna be perfect weather.
Yeah, that's awesome weather. That's perfect for down there. We're gonna be a little bit chillier. I think Furnace Creek has a high of like 66
I think I'll just camp
degrees
in
or
Furnace
something.
Creek and stay.
Yeah, so it's gonna
they
be,
have the best weather.
it's gonna be a little chillier.
There may be high wind warnings. There's already a high wind warning alert right now. High wind warning.
We don't say that word.
No.
No more W's.
No W's.
No W.
Here for the win.
Yay!
Win.
The win.
Winner.
W-I-N.
Winner.
Yeah.
The winner. Winner,
No
winner, chicken
D.
dinner.
No D.
No winder.
No
Winner,
winner.
winner, chicken dinner. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, so you guys so you're on your way, Death Valley. And that one's back to back. So we got 2 events happening, got a bunch of people joining you. There's lots of rushing around going here as Aaron's getting ready to go. And I believe he's taking his daughter out.
Yes.
Yeah, Amanda. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool. And then Scott Arntz will be coming out joining you. I don't know who is he bringing somebody? Who's coming with him?
He
I
always
don't.
brings his friend.
He's got another guy that he's bringing out with him.
Okay.
Brought him up last time.
I don't know if he's coming by himself or not.
I think he's bringing his son.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scott? No, Scott's coming by himself.
By himself? Okay. You'll be on a loner. Okay, I got it. Yeah, that's fine. So that'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be good. You got the trip. Plus, you got Alex coming out.
Got Alex coming out for he's gonna.
Which one is Christian on, the first one or the second one?
First one, I think.
First one, okay.
I think so.
I have to reach out to him. I think he still thinks I'm going to be there. So poor guy, he's going to be a little disappointed that I'm not there. I have to, that's okay. I'll be there in spirit.
Be there in spirit, yes.
I'll be there in spirit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Should we get a little bobblehead and walk around with it?
That would be cool. Like I want
or one of those face.
I want one now. I want a bobblehead. I want a Matson Breaky bobblehead. I want to have. I want a Matson, Corey, and Jessy bobblehead set for the ModernJeeper Show.
We'll figure it out.
We have to figure that out.
We're gonna make it happen.
There's a guy that makes custom bobbleheads. Like it's not that bad either. You just send your pictures of your head, and he makes this little 3D prints of bobblehead.
Huh.
So I mean, all the bodies are generic,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. He has the fat one, he has the skinny one, and then he has the female one. It's like he'll be good. Yeah.
You goofball.
Yeah, good times. All right. Well, what else? What else is going on? Not much.
I'm
looking at my calendar.
Are you gonna start snorting emergency here in a minute?
Yeah, I probably should. It probably would have gone down better. So we got the CT, we got Death Valley, we've got we're working. Next month, Skills Day. Skills Day is live.
Oh, right.
Skills registration is live. And we're working on our Bronco Skills Day. That's going to be coming up either May or June. And we're trying to figure that out. And then otherwise, we also have the shootout coming. That's coming like that next month, or is that this month?
March.
NorCal Rock Racing.
I do not.
Is the 2023 MetalCloak Wild West Shootout is March 24th. March 24th and 25th.
Okay.
Wild MetalCloak Wild West Shootout at Prairie City. So that's gonna be a big one too, because actually my understanding is part of the Ultra 4 crew will be coming out there and doing some live video of that and some streaming and everything else. It'll be cool. But that's March 24th. So a lot happening this month, guys. This is it. The season's starting.
Yeah, it really is.
Nonstop.
And then, I mean, really, once we get through March, it is full bore. So, like I said, if you guys are out there trying to finish up projects and whatnot, make sure you are getting your orders placed, because it's time's going to go by quick.
Well, I know the big meat run is happening at Disney, Oklahoma on March 9th. And of course, the Southern Rock Racing guys are going to be there too. They have big buck mega shootout with the big rock monsters this year. Because in the years past, Big Meat Run has just been a horrible nightmare show, is putting it in nice words. People get killed every year. It's just a bunch of drunken rednecks playing.
It's like rednecks with paychecks, kind of.
Ryan Trotter and all those guys from the Mid-America Outdoors have taken over Disney, and so now they're putting on the Big Meat Run professionally. So you're going to have some exciting races out there with the big rock bouncers. So
wow. Well, that sounds cool. Now, when's the next girl event? Jeep Girls event.
Jeep Girl. There's some going on that I have on a list, but I don't have my list on me right now. But
we have a couple of new influencers and some others that are coming onto it that are like, I want to make sure they're all involved in that, because they're really cool girls, and some of them are. I think one of them is actually involved somehow, but they're actually they wrench themselves, they do it all themselves, and it's and it's just they're really, really cool chicks. So. Am I allowed to say chicks? Is that okay? Is like chicks? Yeah. Is that an acceptable term anymore? Yeah,
I think that's all right.
Is that all right? Is that chicks?
That's right.
Gals.
She was talking about when we left Colorado. She was talking about Rim Rocker, and of course, she still wants to put together that all girls Rim Rocker run again because of weather. Yeah. It's that's at altitude still. So the LaSalle's outside of Moab. Oh my gosh, there's so much snow up there. So,
so it's going to change into a snowmobile run.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that would be cool.
That would be cool. Running the Rim Rocker in a snowmobile.
That is off-roading.
I don't know, something about avalanches and things that
then it becomes muddy. The river crossings become dangerous, and
jeez, too much consideration.
Right.
It's like, what did I do Sunday? I said, boys, we're going outside to play. And so it was raining, it was pouring, and I had all three kids outside riding their bicycles. I wanted them to experience what it was like to do a power slide on wet cement. And bring out the power wagon with the 18-volt battery in it and just slide around out there. And they had a blast.
That's awesome.
Everybody else is driving by thinking we're weird as we're standing outside and it's pouring on us and we're having fun.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
the big girls event is in June. That's the Artemis Rally, Overland Project.
How's that coming?
I'll send you my graphics I've been working on for the wrap on the Jeep.
Oh, cool! Wow.
Yeah, he's got his hands full. Anytime you put together a bunch of women doing adventure things, I can't imagine what that coordinator has to go through.
Oh my God! Yeah. Right.
No.
And if anybody has a recurve bow out there, I need one.
Really?
So I don't pay $1 million for one.
You're probably not going to pay $1 million, but so they shoot in recurve bows, and they have to do some paddling, and they have all kinds of challenges.
Like fun. Wow.
Yeah.
Gets me thinking. Maybe I should do it. Maybe we should do a version of that, like out here, where it's kids in the Power Wheels. And they do the same kind of it's like a multi-day event, but it's kids out at Prairie City in the Power Wheels, and they have to do like a number of Boy Scout.
Who brings the coolest build?
That would be cool.
The coolest build.
Yeah, and just the Power Wheel, and it's not about speed, it's like the Power Wheel, obviously the 18-volt conversion. I got everybody else kicked, but it's about going through some areas and stuff, and then you have to stop and you have to work with the adults to start a fire, and then you go to another area.
That would be kind of fun.
You have to do a little bow and arrow shoot. It might be fun to do that. Yeah, I'll get John Goodby on that one. All right, guys. Well, it's been another great episode. Appreciate you all joining us here on the ModernJeeper Show. We do have more guests coming in next week. I haven't quite figured out what we will do, because Corey and Jessy will be out there in Death Valley on the trail. So you might just be me solo, and I might just maybe I'll sing an opera for you or something. and or recite my favorite poem about the trail.
Stupid human trail.
You want
never watch the show again.
I was gonna say no. We want to keep our listeners still involved.
I'll keep them entertained. I just promise
Yeah,
it will be not adult related content. All right. Okay, guys, thank you again for joining us. You know how to get a hold of me, Matson at MetalCloak.com, Corey at MetalCloak.com, Jessy at MetalCloak.com, and of course, Modern Jeeper Adventures. The Moab trip is live. It's live. Yep, so Moab's up. So get out there, register for Moab, and reach us at ModernJeeperAdventures.com, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you have anything else, you can reach out to us. We're here. Otherwise, we love you, and we'll see you on the trails.
Cheers.
See ya.